Henry Coleman. You now watching comedy and first person to take me on the road. You know what? I guess, man, it was a lot of people. um, that's a good question. What happened was in 99, 2000, when I started, um, it was real easy to get work. You know what I'm saying? All you had to do was just drive to a city, walk into a club and say you was a comedian and get a guest set. And if you did all right, then they would just, you know what I'm saying, they would let you come back and host or feature, maybe not headline. So I did a lot of clubs and I ended up opening for Dundee Security. I ended up opening for Arnez J. And I ended up opening for Lavelle Crawford, like in little different clubs. Then I ended up getting fired by Dundee Security. And ended up getting fired by well, Dundee's, his problem was I ain't dress up. He came to me, he's like, man, you gotta, you can't just be wearing, because I was doing white clubs. He was like, man, you can't just be wearing jeans and, black folks not like that. We like to, you gotta have a nice suit or something on, whatever. Arnez was like, I was just bumming in front of his crowds. And he was doing an hour and 30 anyway. And I was hosting. So Arnez was like, I'll just do his time. Like, what I'm saying? I mean, one night, they say he was late, so he's like, stretch a little bit. Do Arnez, he did radio, stretch a little bit. So I had did the show, and he was always cool. He was always real cool, but I was just bumming. I was just bumming. So the next day when they kind of let me go, I kind of understood what was going on. But who took me on the road? I never really got that. I went out with a guy named Bobo Lamb. I went out with a guy named Derek Ellis. Now, what they would do is, these dudes was kind of hustlers. They would tell club owners that I was a headliner. I was not a headliner. So they would go to a bar or like a venue and go, we're going to put on the show. I got my man Henry Coleman. He going to headline. And then, I guess they would charge the bar $1,500, whatever. And they would pay me $80. Because I wasn't no headliner. They paid me like $100. And they would do the whole time. They would do like 45 minutes up front, bring up a guest set, do another 30 minutes after that, then and then bring me up. I do my strongest 15. And then we would, what I'm saying? Kind of hustling the club. So I was kind of just out with a lot of people, learning stuff from a lot of different people before I eventually kind of start. The funnier I got, the less people would take me with them. Like when I actually started getting funny, people wouldn't really take me with them. So at that point, it was like time for me to start headlining and doing my own shows. My favorite places to perform is where people want to see me. You know what I'm saying? I like to perform in front of crowds. When I promote my own shows and I get a room full of people that already kind of know what I do and want to see me, that's fun. What's harder for me is when people don't know who I am and I'm kind of surprising them with my humor. That's kind of, because it feels like a more of a prove it type situation. So, yeah, I like clubs. I like Laugh Factory, LA. Here, I like Cats. Cats is always cool. Uptown is cool. Yeah. Memphis, Tennessee. I did it at a poetry night. I went up and did comedy on a poetry night. The host was doing real bad. I had brought my baby mama, and I started heckling the host. It was Dennis Clark. He here. I said, you trash. I'm just sitting in the audience. I'm like, you suck. And it's like me, him, and maybe 10 other people. And he's like, what's your name? I was like, Henry Coleman. And he looked on the list. He was like, you on the list? I was like, yeah. He's like, you're not supposed to be heckling if you're on the list. I was like, whatever. So he's like, all right, well, we're going to bring you up. I went up and, because I was arrogant, whatever. I went up and bummed for like 5 minutes just talking about fat chicks. And then left the stage, sat back down, and he started roasting me. I was like, but you still ain't funny. He was like, you want to come back up? I was like, sure. So I came back up there, bummed again. Yeah. Bummed twice in one night. And then when I came on stage, the other dude was like, man, you sound white. Because that's how black people, like, man, you sound white. You sound like white people like you. You need to go to the white club. And I later figured out when somebody say you sound white means you're not funny. They just telling you in a very, like, trying to be nice to go, nigga, you lame, you whack, you ain't funny. But I went over to the white club and killed. You know what I'm saying? Grabbed the mic and destroyed. 400 white people couldn't get enough. So for the next year, I was like, okay, I'm gonna do white people, but I don't want to be one of those black comics that don't do black comedy. So every night I would go to the white club, kill, and then after that go to a black spot and bum for like 3 years straight. Every night. White people like, you're great. Then I go somewhere with niggas that and they was like, you suck. Every night. Every night. Every night though in my life. And the stronger I got with the blacks, the weaker I got with the whites. So it's like I couldn't really, it was hard to kind of find that balance where I was strong with both. As I kind of started learning how to do black comedy, my white people didn't see me as wholesome or likable. You know what I'm saying? And it was kind of like a thing. Like the better I got with the blacks, the worse I got with the whites. So the better I got with the whites, the worse I got with the blacks.
Damn, where you at now?
It's my show is 80% blacks. Every night I walk out, it's all, I prefer blacks. Right now my favorite city is Atlanta because people come out every night. Now they don't care every night. They don't care, but they are there. In LA, a lot of the nights getting up in front of people, just like on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, getting in front of real people, where it's everything industry out there. So it's like it's the pressure on. Everything's the pressure on. So Dave Chappelle might walk in, or Kevin Hart might walk in, and it go from just being a comedy show to kind of like a more of a Hollywood thing. Atlanta cool because even though you got your TIs or you got your celebrities that's mingling around, it still ain't such an influx of celebrity to where comedy don't matter. You can still just stand up there and be a regular person and be funny to a crowd if you got good material and stuff. So that's why I enjoy performing in Atlanta. And when me and my baby mama went to see D.L. Hughley at the Orpheum, and I didn't know because I had just been watching Comic View and Def Jam and all that, and I ain't know dudes was 10 times funnier live. I didn't know that. I had no clue. I'm just like, man, I didn't see this dude on Comic View. I'm like, okay, he probably ain't, whatever. Man, I think John Witherspoon did a guest spot that night. This is had to be like 99. He came in. He didn't do but 10 minutes, but he got a standing ovation in 10 minutes. He came out with the bang, bang, bang. That was already killing us. He just came out there with the polka dot shirt on. He was like, bang, bang, bang. We was done. Then he told a couple jokes. We was done. And then they did an intermission, came back. The host did a little bit more time. And then DL came out there, and it was like, man, that's when I knew I was like, I got to do this. This is what I'm supposed to do. Man, he killed us for, I'm talking about an hour, 15 minutes straight. It's just nonstop, he was on fire that night. We was dying for, it was at least an hour, 20 minutes straight. Oh, man, that's a good question. That's a really good question. Comedy special? Comedy special. Of course, Eddie Murphy Raw, Delirious. Both of them is dope. Patrice O'Neal's Elephant in the Room. I like a couple Louis C.K. specials. You talking about recent? I'm a big fan of Maria Bamford, who's who does voices.